please.
Hey guys, I'm a guest here. Why am I doing the intro?
It's fine. Do my intro. I normally have guests that are forward. They always want to.
No.
Okay, have manners. Okay, guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the graceful and the beautiful family. Positive vibes, all things belief, love, lifestyle, law, and employment. This is where it's at. This is the location. When they say send the location, send that subscribe link, okay? And today I'm with another guest. So I don't know if she's going to be a resident. You know, guys, now I want people that pay rent. Don't pay rent, I kick you out.
I'm a guest.
So I don't know if she's a resident. My resident, you must pay water, electricity. Okay, anyway, guys. So yeah, I have a guest. She's going to introduce herself.
What do you want to know? Okay, Sanmanani. Woo, Dumalang Lekai. Happy New Year.
Okay.
Welcome to my sister's YouTube channel. Her name is Yadlala. My name is Noma Ndlovu Kacheni Boya Benyati. Married into the Dlodlo family Pangazita.
No, guys, also shut down. It comes highly recommended. It's not the topic of the day, but just shut up. I'll tell you one day.
I'm still introducing myself. You know,
it's fine. You just want to know your name and your names.
Yes. Oh, well, I've mentioned all my surnames, but that's not all. That has to do with my introduction, bro. What the hell? Yes, I am an advocate by profession, doing my master's in international criminal justice, focusing in intelligence and anti-fraud and corruption. I have a 2-year-old son, and yeah, unfortunately, I was born with a lot of people. Zaliwe.
So yeah, guys, this is my sister. She's here. You know, took some time to convince her, but we're here. So yeah, you guys have been saying good to me now. I keep to myself. This year you're going to see all the people you want to see. Even my boyfriend, you see him.
You have one?
When I have one, Pella, I have hope. So yeah, guys, without further ado, so today we're going to discuss everything mental health, and then how it affects how we relate with other people, right? So it might be a long video, it might be a short video, and it might be a very emotional and serious one. But yeah, we're going to talk about how mental health is important and how it affects how we relate with our friends, our partners, our colleagues, and stuff like that. And maybe how we can do better as people that are not going through mental health issues to make sure that other people are comfortable, right? So yeah, so we're gonna, okay, I've had mental health issues, but not like clinical ones, right? So I'm going to have my 2 cents, and then she's also going to share her own experience and how it made her feel, and what she learned from it, and what she expected from us, people around her, what we could have done better in her season, right? So firstly, you can just share with us, what is mental health? What does it mean?
I think more than anything, the biggest worry is the definition that we get of what mental health is. When it comes to the people that actually feel how it is to be mentally ill. Mm-hmm. But also the word mentally ill makes it look like, hey, it's Bamba's yeah, but
yeah, sure.
Not what it means, guys. I'm here, of course. Yeah. I'm you know, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety on the 19th of May last year. Most of it stemmed from, obviously, our upbringing, which I'm not sure if you've shared, but our upbringing being as difficult as it was, how much of ourselves we had to sacrifice to get to where we needed to be, how much strong we needed to be, even when it was not our responsibility to be that strong.
Sure.
At 16, you are expected to be doing this and taking care of other people and, you know, providing and making sure that the next person's homework is done, their uniforms are washed.
And above all, you had to be an A student with all the responsibilities.
On top of that, yes. Sure. So you can't fail because you can't disappoint the person that is obviously taking care of your expenses. At the same time, you're expected to do a whole lot of other things. You're expected to be a good woman. You're expected to look after yourself, not disappoint the family. So all of that, I think more than anything, is an underlying issue of how mental health, for me rather, became a bit delayed because by the time I actually discovered that, okay, my girl hash up, I was already married, and only when I had my own child for me to realize, okay, I have a problem. And the problem was when you start snapping at unnecessary things, you start being emotional about unnecessary things, and also the definition of what's necessary to the next person and what's necessary for me might be different. Then you also start becoming emotional at things that on a normal day, if you say to me, I won't pass it, and then when I'm at threads, I'll just be like, girl,
this is where it's at. But when
on a normal, then when it comes on a day where I'm not well, and if I put it like that, I'm not well, then I get upset.
Yes, why would you make a comment like
why
that?
I like my hair. What are you saying? Are you saying I'm uglier than I was before? So that's when I started realizing that, okay, fine, my girl is not okay. I approached my manager at work and I explained that, you know what, I think I have a problem. I'm not sure what it is. At that time I wasn't sure what it was, unfortunately. Not also being educated enough to understand what mental health actually meant. I was doing well. I got 2 promotions this last year. I did well. I finished, my other degrees, and I've been always academic and stuff. But when it came to knocking off, and you're thinking, gosh, I don't want people. Like, I can just stay in this office and close this door. Then you start realizing that for people that knew that this person enjoys being around people. Man, I to drive, hook up, and then you mentioned something about how mental health affects how we relate to other people.
Okay, wait, before you go there, I think it's safe to say mental health, guys, is very subjective.
It is.
In that I don't think there's ever a universal definition. That's where the problem starts. People want to get one definition and put it on everyone, I think it's a very subjective term in that things like, for instance, I'd always say, like, I grew up with the perfectionist of a mom. In another person's world, it'll be like, yeah.
And unfortunately, we actually both did.
Yes, it's like, in another person's world, it's like, no, I needed my mom to be a perfectionist. I needed my mom. But it affected me in good and bad ways. Because now, I know I'm not allowed to make a mistake. I can't break a glass and not feel like, oh my God, I've killed somebody. That kind of thing. So it's very important to understand that our mental health issues are not going to be identical. Just because it doesn't, you don't recognize it, or the symptoms are not the same as Noma's or Yvonne's, it doesn't mean it's not it. It comes in different forms. Sometimes, like she said, you realize that you snap at nothing. Some people, like I'm very vocal. I speak quite a lot. When I start withdrawing from things, when I stop speaking, when I stop wanting to try new things, when I stop wanting to learn, then I start realizing that actually there's a problem. There's something that's not happening right. And then some people, it's a moment of, I explode, And then, let's go to how did it affect how you related to people? Because I know some people, like, they wake up, actually humanity is a good pretender. A lot of people pretend. I can come to your home, like we spent like the whole holidays together, and you're all smiles, but when you go to your room, you are actually really mad, you're really sad and stuff like that. Was it a point whereby you could pull up and act and actually be happy around people, and then when you are alone, you actually realize that actually I'm not okay, I need more, I deserve better? Or was it a thing of, what, I'm sad?
At first, to be honest, I felt so much pity for myself. I think people that I grew up with, you know how much I used to cry a lot and think about things and get asthma attacks and stuff like that. I did get to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm a strong girl, I got this. But then I also got to a point in the years of my life where I think getting married was also another impact onto that, because it felt like now that I have this human being, I don't have to be strong anymore. I was allowed to break down. I'd break down and cry, even if I don't know what I'm crying about. I'm sad. I don't know what I'm sad at. I'm just sad. I'm just angry. I had a bad day. Or somebody hit the robots and went past me. Or then I'll park the car on the side of the road and just start crying, because now it's probably a lot of emotions piling up over the years or whatever the case may be. But having people around me was a very good, so I was not able to pretend. I would come home and everybody that lives with me would see that, okay, today
she's not okay.
And unfortunately, they would want to know what's wrong, and I don't know what's wrong.
Sure.
But I'm just not okay. I'm not feeling fine. I just want to cry, you know. And I would wake up in the morning and cry if I have to. Get into the shower, open the water, and cry.
Sure.
And get out of the shower. Your husband knows you. Your eyes are pink. What happened? Why is your eyes maroon? And you being asked, why are your eyes maroon? Is another reason for you to cry even more, you know? So I think expressing my emotions was a problem verbally, but emotionally for people that lived around me, they were able to read. So that's why it's important to be able to master the behaviors of people around you, because we can all act up and be happy and whatnot. Then the next thing, somebody has committed suicide and people are like, "Hi, but she bought a car and she bought a home. You know, she did this. What happened?" And to this person, somebody needed to know this person well enough to say, I have an aunt, Mangan Kensan. When she's mad, she gets a vein on her forehead. So she can come here and laugh with everybody and pour a drink and whatnot. But when she's mad, from whatever it is that she was doing wherever she was, you will see the vein on her forehead. So because we know her well enough, you would always say, what happened? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you know, what are you upset about? Then she'd be like, there's you, by the way, who reads people's minds. I'm just like, no, I know you well enough to master your body language. So it's important to know the people that live around us, understand how they behave, understand how they express their emotions. Because when those changes happen, it's tricky to get to a point where you meet this person today and you automatically understand that they are going through a certain thing.
You know, when you talk about the whole concept of actually understanding how people behave, there's this thing that I believe in when people make mistakes, right? And I even read in one of the books I'm currently reading, Sarah Robert Jake's Women Evolve, right? She mentioned something. She said, half the time we quick to react to what people did to us, but we don't understand the behaviors, what led to that. Like, often we're always, personally, I know I'm one of the people always mad why Eve actually ate the fruit. Like, it was one instruction you had to obey, but you ate the fruit the fruit in the garden. Now I have to suffer because of your actions, right? And then she answered and she said, you know what, we often easily actually, why did Eve did this, or why would a person do this? But we forget to actually understand their behaviors. Like you said, sit around, observe. Why does Yvonne always take a glass and put it that way instead of that way? Is it because of her upbringing? Does it make her feel better? Is it a coping mechanism for her? What is this? Where does the behavior stem from? It's very, 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 very important. I think we always shy away from that. We live our best lives not knowing how our friends are doing, or family, or whatever the case may be, because we're like, alright, to smile, or no, because they didn't talk to me nicely. But you don't know what that person was going through that way. And I'm not saying people should go around allowing people to abuse them, or you should be an abuser because people will try to understand your behavior. But all I'm saying is, when an incident happens, yes, be mad, yes, react, but hold back and ask yourself, would Noma, under normal circumstances, say this? And if the answer is no, figure out what has changed. Because another thing, I think I've said in one of my videos, that when people grow, we tend to grow apart, and we grow with those that grow with us. If you're an observer, you'd realize that your child no longer wants porridge. Your child wants noodles now, or cornflakes. That's how you grow with people. And the problem is, when you force things of the former, you irritate a person.
And you're taking me back to a space I don't want to be at anymore. It's like, you obviously don't want to be around you.
Yes, you force a person. Like, now, let's just say, make an example about Bev. I mean, the whole country likes beverage. I can meet you today, Renoir Sprite. You guys are going to think we're drinking Sprite, but it's not. It's some expensive something. Anyway, so, like, I can come here today and we're having this, right? It doesn't mean 5 years down the lane I should bring you this. I need to be able to actually say, see, Noma so Cape Town, are you still drinking red wine? Or are you moved to white wine? Or is it now gin? Or is it now coffee? What is it? You know, because now, for me, I can be able to say and be forward and be like, you know what, let me buy her gin. That's her favorite. Or let me buy her champagne. That's when you get there, you're like, you go and tell your husband, like, this girl, she doesn't respect me. Why would she buy me gin? I left gin when I was in Joburg. Now I'm in a different country.
Now.
Yes, Yes, VSOP, you know. So it's like, it's very important to grow with people around you. Pay attention, see them. If we change, we evolve, guys. You don't arrive. I always say this to people. You don't arrive as a human being. Today you can love yellow. You love yellow. Also, how we love things or how we relate to things, it's our circumstances.
There's a reason behind it.
Yes, it's time and season, and seasons end. Right now, this could be your taste, because now maybe you're a millionaire. When you become a billionaire, taste changes. Now I come to home, like I'm working on glasses. I'm like, hey, Chin, why are your tiles glass? And you're like, no, mommy, this is where we are as billionaires. You know, so it changes with time.
Guys,
I'm gonna finish December. If your salary finish in December, you're broke. You're not rich yet. So yeah, so like it changes time. And then there's another question I have. With triggers, do you think triggers ever go away, or it's something that's a part of our lives?
They don't go away ever. I still have my triggers that I had 5 years ago. I still have them. There are people that are my triggers as well.
Sure.
There are relationships that grow and become a trigger. For example, if somebody tries to be a father to me,
Mr. Kaibo, what is this?
I don't know this relationship.
Yes,
so the fact that you are giving it to me, I'm failing to understand what it means or what it should mean to me. Then it makes me realize what the other person didn't do, what they were supposed to do. And it puts me back in that space where I'm like, he was never there, and I got rejected. Rejection was one of my biggest triggers. I still struggle with that until today. Sometimes my husband has a bad day from work and he comes home and he just, sometimes you just don't feel like talking to anybody.
Yeah, and then you feel like
he would come and kiss you like he does, take a shower, eat his food, get into bed and sleep. That triggers me because I've had the back of so many people's hand. No matter how much I show my smile, I get the, so many times. I've had that so many times from people I loved with my everything, from friends to family to, the moment they do something, it's like friends. There's a friend of mine, Precious, would tell you how much I hate blue ticks. Guys,
I hate being blocked.
Blue tick me.
It's like, what the hell?
I will paragraph you by the time you respond. Let's say you read the message and your battery died. Unfortunately, by the time you switch it on, you're just gonna have to apologize and move past it. So that takes you understanding that this person suffered a lot of this type of rejection in their lives, where nobody listened to them, nobody understood where they were coming from, nobody tried to know who they were and why they are the person that they are. Instead, they just red and blue ticked. So that's a trigger. And as stupid as it can sound, it is a trigger. I don't even like social media. Like that's why I'm like a phone when I'm at home, because I would rather see that you're online than text. Than text and hope for a response. Because when I text, then I wait for a response. Because I'm waiting for, it's not necessarily acknowledgement, but it's a feeling of saying this person took their special time to respond to me.
I think for me it's always I share the same sentiments. I always say to people, I break up with people, I end relationships for the useless things ever. I could stop talking to you because you missed my call, and I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but
when you missed it, did you return it?
Yes, I'm those people, and people always say I'm a very needy human being, right? Like I want to be seen, I want to be heard, I want people to feel my presence, and I want to receive a certain energy from them, right?
But our childhood required us to.
Yes, so it's like I want you to hear me, I want you to see me. So when a person decides to be like, okay, like the other day we were having a chat with my colleague, right, who has become a friend of mine, but so she was laughing, she's like, yo, the relationship I have with you is like husband and wife, not divorced, but always quarreling for stupid things, because it's like, I'm mad, why didn't you answer my call? And then she's like, but I was working, but I was doing this. And then I'm like, but why couldn't you just send a text, hey Nana, I'm busy, I'll get back to you,
But also, sorry to cut you off there. Also, there's this thing that people do. You missed my call, right? You blue tick my message, but you posted 6 statuses. Then you say, when are you a busy?
No, people are mean.
No.
People are mean.
I know people, guys, that love social media who would literally sit down and scroll through their WhatsApp and click on whoever they think is important and respond. And when that happens, I saw that you were online, you ignored, you posted a status, you even wrote a whole paragraph.
And you know,
yay, how the festive season was so nice.
I always say to people, like, I know for a fact, I also have quite a number of messages and I actually need to deal with them. I have like, I think 100 and something messages, right? And this is not from a bad place. This is not from a bad place, right? I always say I respond to people that are important to me. And I even say when people don't, and when people don't respond to me, I always understand the importance, my level of importance in their lives, because there's certain people.
That's where we are going.
Yes.
That it's okay for people in your life to know. Earlier on, we had a conversation about people that decide, I don't want nothing to do with this one anymore. Then the other person is texting you 15,000 times and you're not responding.
The
fact that you're no longer important to them, let them know that I don't want nothing to do with you, fam.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna text you. Don't text me. Block me if you want, or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that.
My friends always think I'm weird about this. We always laugh about it. But even for the friendship breakup, I'm that girl. I'm the girl. So yeah, guys, like I was saying, I'm the girl. I want a proper breakup. I want to understand why you don't want me in your life, and I'm not gonna force stay. You know, there's a video I did on peacefully moving on as adults, right? You sit me down, even if you don't sit me down, whether it's a text, send me a text. Hi V, our relationship is not serving me. It's okay, guys, to exit situations that don't serve you anymore. We grow, we meet, we part. That's part of life. But don't make me a Popeye. Like, don't have me, because I know I go all in hard. Don't have me sending messages to you, good morning, how gunepaloni, or there's some tea going on, and you are blue ticking me. Ma'am, say, like, kuluma nami, njele. Then I will stay away from you. I'll respect your space, right? That for me, that's the chat. Be clear, concise, communicate your feelings.
And it's let me know when you know your space. You just
and I'm not gonna invade your space. You know, and that's another thing for me. I always say, right? I'm not gonna assume that you're happy or you're not happy, because sometimes for me, actually all the time, when we argue, I'm not ending a relationship. When we argue, it's just misunderstanding, different ideas, different perspective. I can go and have my lunch, come back and be like, yo friend, ziyakhala manje sengiyakhandrigada, you won't believe ukuthi kwenzakaleni, you know. But now yes, and you find a friend is saying, I've been cut off. Guys, when you cut us off, don't ignore us. Don't write us on your statuses. Send a message, cut off and delete our numbers.
You know, going back to that point, mental health issues, there are people that are struggling. Okay, there's me that is struggling with rejection, an upbringing of feeling alone, an upbringing of trying to fit in, an upbringing of all of these emotions that made me feel small and less beautiful or less intelligent or less everything. Then you get this person, now you start looking at them and it's just like, maybe they don't want to be my friend anymore because I'm not
maybe you're not smart.
I'm not like an engineer. Now you start feeling shitty about things, excuse my language, you start feeling small about things that are not even your portion. That's that's not even where God wants you to be.
You know, actually funny enough, I do have a friend, right?
It's damaging.
I have a certain friend because I think she believes that beauty is in being light-skinned, right? She posts her friends that are light-skinned and all of that. She parades them, right? And then with us, the dark bones, it's really so, you know. It's like,
unless if it's your birthday.
Oh, maybe it's not your birthday, but where you like, you've done too much, you know. Even you've went all out. You have bases and layers of makeup, right? And I think it comes back. It's important, guys, loving people for who they are. You know, when I come home as your sister, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a graduate, I'm just Yvonne. You know,
yes.
You know, I'm
lock
human.
my closet.
Sure. You know, I'm human. I'm not trying to be like, yeah, section 26, you know. Even when I come back to you as a friend, I'm not
to talk about that at home.
Even you as a pretty girl, when you come home, you're not a mihlali. You're not, like I always say, there's this segment that I'm doing, right? Before everything, I'm human, right? Like it's more of like just talking about celebrity life and stuff like that. Ne? It goes back to saying, even no mihlali, when she goes back to her friends, she's not mihlali. She's a human being. Yes, they drink, they chill, they hang out and all of that. She's human. So I think it's always important relating to see people. Open your eyes and you'll see the beauty of humanity. See people for who they are. Forget my title deeds. Forget what I own. Just see me. Yes, see me for me. Yes, acceptance and just seeing me for me. You know, that's very important. And then I think that's the last part of the video, right? We're going to talk about, so like I said, I've had like mental health issues, but I didn't go clinical. So I was able to like deal with them at home, like whereby like, it's like, oh no, actually let me watch like my favorite pastors, you know, I feel uplifted, let me cry it out. You know, those are like methods that you use when you're not clinical. Like you can cry yourself out and feel better in the morning, sleep, or you can watch somebody that motivates you, somebody that you look up to, you feel better. Like I know when I'm having a really bad day, I sometimes watch Ugos Klubi. He's a comedian on YouTube. Like I laugh the entire time, then I feel better. When I need some uplifting in my career or whatever, I watch Mpumili Doaba. So yes, you can watch whatever. Those are like for minor little things. But remember, mental illness has levels. There's some things that you can't handle at home, right? So sometimes you have to use medical solution, right? So with medical solution, and like when we're having a chat earlier on, when you said to me, somebody said, go take your cray medicine or whatever the case may be. Actually, I got touched because somebody once said, I think it was Junita Kumalo, she said, mental health is not an issue.
It's not a disability.
Yes, it's not a disability. It's not. And the moment you stop seeing it from a disability, you'll be able to give the person the best support they need.
It's a physical illness, just like all the other pains, just like your headaches, just like you bumped your toe at the corner of your bed, you need to take painkillers.
So, yeah, and then I want you to give us like maybe 4 advantages, actually 3 rather, advantages of taking your meds and how it makes you feel, and if there are any side effects, right? And then before we go, like I want us to tackle the meds part after, right? And then there's this thing like okay, you can also touch base on therapy like briefly, right? But there's something that I learned, guys, and it's so sad that maybe sometimes as Black people we don't have enough funds to actually cater for therapy and stuff like that. There's something I was reading or something I watched. They said you don't have to wait to actually it's a book I'm reading. You don't have to wait for a problem to attend to therapy. Actually, you can wake up, everything is well, you're getting promotions, you're getting houses, you are billing out of control, because we lawyers bill, we live on billing. You know, you're billing, homonati, you're driving an MG, you're getting sports cars. It's not you, I'm not subbing you. It's me in my other life. It's me in my life as a rich aunt. You know, you have everything. When you have everything, it's okay to go for therapy. It's okay to sit down and actually see what's going on. What can you do better?
I forget. If, at the time when you have everything, that's when you realize what you do not have.
Sure.
And what I did not have after I had everything, from the marriage to the perfect husband to my beautiful son to my favorite car to my house, I realized I did not have love for me.
Sure.
And me lacking love for me was hindering me from understanding the love from other people.
Yes,
how you receiving love from other people. That's when you start realizing that, you know what, I'm not normal, because nobody doesn't. And sometimes Happy would buy me on my birthday, remember the 100 bunch, the 100 roses.
Yes.
I was just like, why would you buy me 100 roses? Why
and
did you buy normal bunch?
Where this stems from, that's also one thing I've realized, right? Like, I have really loving friends and I appreciate you guys so much, right? But there's certain people in your life that you want those things from. And until you receive that card from ABCD, any other card is valueless.
Yes.
You know, it's like if I sit down like so much and I'm like expecting maybe something from my father. Let's just say I want my first car to come from my father. Even if so and so buys me a car, I'm gonna be thankful, but I don't see it. I don't value it as much because I'm waiting for my father to get me that first car or that card, or for my parents to recognize my birthday, or for my relatives to recognize my birthday, or whatever.
But that's one other thing that puts black children rather. I'm not being racist, but I think I've noticed this with black children mostly, where parents fail to acknowledge their children's successes. There's if you watch Gomorrah, when they had that Miss Gomorrah when they had that Miss Gomorrah,
the pageant,
yes, and that girl, I don't remember her name, and she said that speech, and she said her parents failed to say you are beautiful. Her parents failed to say congratulations, you've done well.
So this thing is actually a lot,
and you are receiving it from all these other people.
I saw
your
it
teachers are applauding.
Sure, I actually the other day I broke down because I was looking at something from Twitter. I'm sure most of you know Kayams. I don't know if you know her because you're not much on social media, but Kayams says something. Kayams doesn't. She's pretty, like she's a beauty influencer, very gorgeous, right? She does not post full body photos, right, at all. You will see her face, see her sitting, and all of that, right? And then the other day on Twitter, she's like, yo, guys, today I was, December holidays, you realize a lot, you observe because you're home with your siblings and stuff. She's like, guys, today I realized, Hori, I have this trauma, and me not posting my full body photos is because of my mother. Constantly growing up, my mother told me how I was fat, my body was problematic. Even today when we went to the mall, she's like, didn't you see that you needed a gym or something like that? It's like constantly her mother would always praise the other siblings or the cousins because maybe they have a thin waist, or they don't have easy to, or whatever the case may be, they deemed pretty enough because maybe they are slender. So when she said that, I'm actually like, a lot of black girls go through this. Our parents have a different narrative of beauty. It's like, hi, you like makeup
of success.
Yes, you like makeup, or you like makeup, you like this. You can't be deemed as the best. You can't be deemed as the right person for this. So like it's very sad. And guys, whatever you do, I think how I've learned to understand that our parents are parents, and that's that. They're always going to be connected.
They probably got that from where they came from, where nobody acknowledged what they did right. And now they struggle with acknowledging what their kids are doing right.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong. I always say, if there's one thing I'm going to do for my children, is making sure they understand every day that I love you. Don't write it in a text. Don't write it on Facebook.
Don't tell people.
Say, my daughter, I love you.
Yes, and act
my
accordingly.
Son, you are gorgeous. You did well. You passed. Even if I didn't get distinctions, I know you can do better, but well done.
Sure.
Then I know that, okay, I can do better, but I still did well. I'm gonna go celebrate with the other kids.
Sure.
Because then they grow up with lack of appreciation, lack of acknowledgement, that they end up seeking in the wrong people, end up giving too much of
and
themselves,
people take
or rather
advantage.
end up giving too much of myself to people that understand that this person comes from a background like this. So if I say to them I love them every day, they would appreciate that.
And then they would think I really love them when I don't. Don't. So it's very important.
I start giving too much of myself for that. But also, you were still on the issue of therapy. I'm not sure what you wanted to know about therapy.
Yeah, so like I said, that we have this tendency of waiting for something to break loose for you to attend therapy, guys. Your life could be in order and all of that. Go for therapy. Therapy doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Do your therapy and be happy and be okay. Like, do that, right? And then I wanted to find out, okay, before that, there's also something that my dad actually taught me. He said to me, like, referencing to the fact that sometimes parents don't acknowledge you and all of that. I hope every teenager, every uni student, everyone who's expected to do something watching this, my dad always says to me, if that was your best that you gave, it does not matter whoever thinks what. If 60 is your best, it's fine.
Yes.
But it becomes a problem if you get a 30% and when you know you were capable of getting a 60, but you didn't put in the work. But if you've done every possible thing that a human being can do, move on.
You cross night. You've
done your part. If you get your 49 and it's your best version of self, move on. That's it, right? And then with therapy, I just wanted to find out, did therapy in any way help you or make you realize things or whatever the case may be? And while you answer the response of therapy, you can just take us through the advantages of just taking your meds and stuff like that.
All right. I think my biggest mistake was actually going to therapy after my third breakdown, because I had 3 breakdowns. My first breakdown, I was at work. My manager said to me, girl, I don't know what's going on, but I think you need to go home. Whatever it is, you've been crying all day. What are you crying for? What's wrong? I don't know what's wrong. I think at the back of my mind, I knew what was wrong, but I just couldn't put it into words.
Sure.
And sometimes you need somebody qualified enough to be able to understand. By me telling them a story of what happened in my childhood, or what somebody said that stuck with me for so many years, then they can be able to interpret it into why you were feeling the way you were feeling throughout the day. So those 3 breakdowns were the worst. One of them, I had to call my best friend Abueng. She had to come from Kagiso to come and drive behind me because I couldn't drive home. I couldn't see. I had a headache. So sometimes, and I'm asthmatic, so you can imagine. So for people that have other mental health, other health
illnesses,
issues, you can't wait to a point where you are breaking down, because breaking down could lead to a heart attack. You could literally get an asthma attack and die in the car. You could have an accident. There's a lot that could happen. So that was my biggest mistake. But when I started attending therapy, I think it took a while for my therapist to break things down for me to be able to understand why I was the person I was, because I didn't understand, why do I love people so much and nobody, returns the same love. I mean, you guys are my siblings, so you must love me. I don't care. You must, by force.
Sure.
But other people, because you know that, okay, this person loves me. She's not going anywhere. She loves me. But you still want to, pick up other people and try
and that's the thing about love, guys. Love is very weird.
You are seeking the validation. You are seeking this fulfillment that could have literally just been done by one person who just broke you down instead of build you up. And now you feel like you're a nobody, and the people around you can make you feel like a somebody. So when I went to therapy, I think that's what my therapist had to deal with first before getting to, now everything is fine, I'm alright. Of course, I'm still taking it one day at a time. When they diagnosed me, I was put under medication. I took 11 pills a day. 4 times a day. The disadvantage with that was sometimes they uplift your mood and sometimes down. So people around you need to understand that, okay, today it's not a good day. And they must obviously be as gentle as they can be. Sometimes I get to the office and I say morning and I close my door. Then I open my door on my way out at 4:30. And nobody, the next day I'm like, away guys, morning.
Yes.
They're like, but that is what medication does, and that becomes a problem, because then you lose the control of how you can control your own. Also,
you don't get to you don't get to control your emotions, because it's like they determined by what you're taking in.
So part of my meds was sleeping pills. So I'll take my sleeping pills at 9:00 to be able to wake up at 6:00 the next day. So you literally, there were times where, unfortunately, as embarrassing as it was, I used to wet my bed because, and at some point when I got used to it, hubby would wake up and say, "I'm coming and I'm trying." So he waited for me to get used to it and understand why it's happening. Then he could joke about it. So when he used to joke about it, then it made me realize that, okay, this is the fact that he's joking about it is him trying to make me realize that it's not something I'm doing on purpose. When you drink your sleeping pills, my doctor would even tell me instructions to say, explain how your house is structured for me so that I can explain to you what you need to do. So I'll tell him, okay, there's 2 floors, what. He would say, whatever you do, don't take your pills while you're downstairs. Go upstairs, take a glass of water, get into bed, drink your pills, drink your water. Even if you're watching TV or you're reading a book or whatever, I would always wake up with my phone. At some point, my screen was cracked because I fell asleep and it fell. At some point, I would sleep with the TV on. I always sleep with my glasses on. Hubby always has to take them out, all of that stuff. So until I got to a point where I was able to go back into my sleeping routines by myself without taking my meds, then I stopped. But then me stopping, my therapist was against it, my GP was against it, but I then decided to myself that, you know what, the way my meds are going, there are days where when I don't take my meds, I'm just not sure. In the morning I'm happy, in the afternoon I'm sad, in the evening I'm emotional. You have all seasons of your emotions in the same day. And that was too much. That was painful, that was torturing. So when I stopped, I just said to myself, you know what, then my GP would explain that, okay, since you're feeling like this, if you want to stop, maybe let's not stop completely, because that's also a rapid change on your system. It's a rapid change on your routine and whatnot. Let's try and subtract one by one. So instead of taking 11 a day, I went to taking 9, and I went to taking 7. Now I'm taking 4. And the 4 that I'm taking is like, okay, when let's say I have an interview or have an exam and I'm feeling anxious and I can't breathe, and then you take 1. Then a few minutes later, you're calmer. And it was sad, because there's a friend of mine I told this story at work, and we went for lunch. I told you about the story. Went for lunch, had Red Bull at lunch because I was feeling sleepy and tired. Had Red Bull at lunch and a pie. Goes to the office, noisy as always and whatnot. Then my manager says, hey, today we are asked, what's going on? You're so loud and whatnot. Then the other manager says, this one, we know her, she's always loud. Then this girl that I had gone to lunch with responded and said, oh no, this one, she took her cray meds with Red Bull. That's why she's so high. That broke my heart, because I then realized, I didn't say it to her, never made an issue out of it. We just went past it, and I just thought to myself, you don't get it, it's okay. You don't have to, it's not your journey to travel. But it made me realize how much people just don't get it.
People are actually
the other thing is
ignorant.
People hide it there.
Sure.
You can't be on your meds and you live with people, you work with people, and nobody understands what's going on with you. Because imagine I come in the office and I'm not talking to anybody, and I walk straight
they're
into
gonna be like, hey, there's this moody person.
No, it's not even that, bro. It's out of your control. It's not you that's deciding that today I want to be like this. Sometimes I'll take them when I get to the office after I have my breakfast, because I'm alone, and whatever mood swings that comes, I'm in my office alone. Even though they helped me so much with concentration levels, and you are able to read something. There were times when I would read a whole sentence. By the time I get to the full stop, I'm just like, go back to the same sentence. Then your level of concentration is reduced as well. So there's a lot that comes around medication. I think depending on which ones you're taking, because they all have different side effects, and the extent of your illness as well is important to understand. So people must practice going to the therapist when everything is okay. Just sometimes you might think everything is okay when it's not. You might think you're doing your best when you are not. You just need somebody else to hear you and be like, yeah, but if you think you did this, how about if, let's say, instead of reading 2 books a day, why are you not reading 3? Then you find yourself doing so much better in your studies, because the next person told you this when you thought you were doing great. So therapy is a way of people getting to understand their emotions, getting to appreciate what's happening around their lives, getting to understand that there are things that are out of their control, and it's okay for certain things to
not
be the
be
way
in
they
your
are.
control.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so much for the insightful details. I learned quite a lot, and one thing I just would like to say to all my subscribers and everyone watching this, guys, be kind. You guys have like everyone on Twitter says, be kind, you don't know what people are going through, but are you actually kind? Be kind, date kind people, marry kind people, be kind to your partners, put yourself in kind spaces, because when people are kind, they don't deliberately hurt you. They don't go around after your feelings and emotions. Kind people always try to observe, and they step down a bit to actually say, no, you know what, this person is not okay.
And it's easy for them to say, are you okay?
Yes. And also another thing, the reason why we're saying be kind, in like every second of your life, given every breath you take, be kind. You don't know what people are going through. Like she said, people are good at hiding their illnesses, and it's detrimental to the person that's hiding it. Because now when I'm supposed to take my meds, now I must run to the toilet, or now I must act a certain way, or now you want your work and I'm not able to submit the way you want it. But if you understand my health issues or my mental illnesses, you're able to actually say, oh no, I'd understand why Yvonne wrote 10 pages instead of 2 pages. Or I'd understand why Yvonne came to work at 5 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. You're not putting constant pressure against me or on the next person. So be kind, love one another. See your therapist if you can afford it. If you can't, just do things that make you happier, things that grow you and make you a better person. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. And don't forget to be love, light, and don't forget to pray for the next person, okay? Love you guys all.